record. There's the encoder. And you're live.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the T-Shay Show. I'm Tika, and today I have Anthony and Tyran.
There you go. Yo, how you doing?
They are real estate investors here in Detroit, residential. How y'all doing today?
I'm doing great, you know. I'm just blessed to be alive. I'm doing awesome. It's been a busy but productive, beautiful day. You know, it's cold, but you know, got to get it done.
That's what's up. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what is it that you two do? What company that you work for? Or is it your company? What's the name of your company? Just tell us a little bit about what you have going on in the real estate investment world.
Okay, that was like a couple questions in one. So, I'm gonna say is how I got in. That's when I'm gonna start. Okay, so I worked for a company. I'm not gonna say who, but we clean windows, and I worked there for 2-3 years. I did a good job, and I did my part. I started doing something else on the side, something called World Ventures, and it's like a traveling company. You know, give you the best deals, and you save a lot of money, honestly. So I started doing that on the side, and I was very verbal about it. I told everybody, my bosses, because they was cool, and he was like, cool. And then, you know, one day, I get a call on Monday, and they like, yeah, before you come in, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So he, one of my bosses come out there and tell me pretty much something happened where he said I said a certain thing to a certain female, and other people heard it, and pretty much, you know, it was BS. That's all I'll say. And they'll say, if you want to fight it, though, you gotta take it to court and all. And I'm not about to take it to court for a $15 an hour job. Come on now, I'm gonna lose more money than get it back. So, at the same time, my brother, like a month before this incident happened, he was working with.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was truck driving, and GM was going through a layoff, and they were all like protesting and everything. So I was truck driving, expediting, and I wasn't working at the time, so I was without a job, as well as, you know, my brother here, Tyran, he was without a job.
So I called him, and I'm like, listen, I got fired wrong, and I'm not working for another person ever again, so we gotta make something happen. So I went over his house, and, you know, usually when you grow up, everybody usually say the same thing, what they want to be: a basketball player, football player, fire truck man. It's really because as kids we visually see that. You know, we don't really know anything about programming or just other ways to make money, so we don't know them type of things. But we actually sat down for, it took no less than an hour, like literally less than an hour, and we saw something called Matterport. It was a 3D virtual tour camera for real estate, you know, to pretty much be a virtual open house. So I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet. And soon, you know, the COVID was coming. Like, this is perfect timing. So we bought the camera. Costed around like $5,000, $6,000. And
yeah, those aren't cheap.
Yeah, and
so basically, don't mean to cut you off. So basically, you are photography for real estate. You do photography for real estate.
That's how it
started.
That's how I got in.
Okay.
So we was charging like 10 and 15 cents per square foot of the house to, you know, do these type of services, and it went pretty smooth. And then I heard something else about wholesaling real estate. I heard that like 2 years ago, actually, and something just crossed back in my mind on YouTube. I watched this video of this dude named Max Maxwell. He was talking about wholesaling, where you can get a property and get a finder's fee and give it to an investor, same way. So I'm like, okay, sweet.
What do you mean by get a property?
So say if someone wants to sell you your property, you can get the property or have it on the contract and pretty much show an investor. An investor will pretty much pay you a finder fee to take that property and do a fix and flip.
Okay, so you're not initially having to buy the property.
You don't have to buy the property. You can do something called, you can assign the contract. And it's pretty much anything is assignable, like a car note. You can go on a website, look up, take over my car note. People will literally pay you to take over their car note and assign you their contract. There's many ways you can do it. So I started watching his videos, and just one thing that really hit me, not just about the wholesaling, but somebody asked him, if I want to do a certain thing with my dreams, how many hours should I take out of a day? And he was like, hours? You need to get obsessed with what you want to become, to the point where it's 24/7. When you eat, you're looking at something. When you take a bath, you looking up something, listen to a podcast. So I'm like, okay. And I swear, after I heard that, like 4 months straight, I just started learning everything about real estate for like 12 hours, 16 hours. I literally go to sleep on my laptop learning about real estate. Then I wake back up and get right back to it. So that's how I really got into real estate. And, got my brother with me, family. They usually say don't do business with family, but it worked out. It's just a lot to talk about. I don't know.
Well,
Just
go,
just
we
go,
here to listen.
go ahead.
You're educating our viewers right now.
Okay, so it's so many. I just want to say, there's so many ways to get into real estate without any money as well. You just have to find out. It's also, some people want to fix and flip houses, but they like, hey, I don't have $100,000 for a house, and then $40,000 for the construction costs and all. Well, just find a hard money lender. You can get a loan for $150,000. Might charge you for 12% interest, but through them 4 months, you're fixing up the house, and in 4 to 6 months, you selling the property. So you might have just spent around $5,000 in interest, but you just made a $30,000, $40,000 flip. So there's many ways to get into real estate without just money, but just whatever you're trying to do out there. Overall, it all starts with the mind. If your mind not there, anything you try to do, once you take an L, you get discouraged because you're not mentally into it. If you don't believe yourself, you're just not gonna get anywhere. And that's what I had to learn myself. I meditate every day. I pray, and just gotta use your time wisely. We always say we don't got time, but man, you can easily find time for anything you want to do.
Time for everything else.
Females, guys, all that. You make time. So just get to it.
You gotta take L's to win.
You
gotta take L's.
I said this is the best time to figure out your craft. A lot of people getting paid through unemployment, and this is the perfect time. While you're at home, just learn something, research, do something.
What you should be doing anyway. People let COVID use COVID as an excuse.
Well, and I think that's I've heard from a number of people that the number one question that's being asked during job interviews now is so what did you learn during quarantine?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually would like to be asked that.
I didn't know that. A lot of people learn about Forex. One thing I learned about this, I want to learn something I can do virtually. So if it is a crash, I can still work on my laptop or my computer and still make money in some type of way. It's always nice to pick a talent in that way. There's many ways, guys. Just don't look at anybody particular how they made it. And don't look how they made it. Some people make it in a month. Some people it takes over 2 years. But if you don't stop, you go make it somehow.
Yeah, you got a lot. He came to pour his heart today. He loves real estate. That's why I just let him talk. This is my cousin, my brother, my son. I'm just playing.
So I guess are you primarily looking at? It sounds like residential as opposed to commercial.
Yeah.
So are you a lot of the things I've been reading? I've got friends in the real estate market that play with stuff. So are you seeing the same things they are in that the bottom is about to fall out of the commercial market? In fact, it's already dropping rapidly. And the concern is that is going to be rapidly followed by the residential market. So I know Detroit became a hotspot for exactly what you're talking about, like the quick buy, flip, all that kind of stuff.
Even Amazon got in.
Oh yeah. So is the end of that coming? Is this a riskier time to dive in on that than before because it's more likely that you're going to get left holding the bag?
That's a good question. let's talk about the old crash. You know, I was young at that time, but I don't think it will ever be as bad as it was during was it 2010 crash?
Yeah, 08 through 11, yeah.
Okay, and the commercial game now actually. In a couple years, I'm gonna learn about the commercial game as well, because commercial, great thing about it, it takes time, but it's a big lump sum of cash. You know, there's people out there that makes millions off deals. You just gotta know the right person. Now, what you're saying, at the end of the day, even if it gets harder, if you do your part and if you learn how to work around them problems, you're gonna be good no matter what. You know. Just like with residential, I'm learning like 4 different ways how to buy a property. You know, you can buy a regular. You can do a subject to where you take over.
When you say regular, define each.
Traditional, FHA loan, conventional, through the MLS retail market, through a realtor. That's the traditional way. Then you have the off-market way where you go through with an investor and they pay cash. Then you have other ways where, say somebody,
So now, is that we've all seen the, poster board everywhere. We buy houses for cash.
There you go.
Phone number, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, so the great thing about off market, you're gonna get less, but usually they're looking for distressed properties. It's not always, but the more distressed, the better deal you're gonna get. And you also go that way because of time. You know, sometimes it takes 45 days for on market, where it can take 2 weeks, sometimes a week, 3 weeks to get your money and get out the house quickly. And also sometimes they pay the closing fees. You don't have to worry about no realtor fee, 6%. No inspection fee, no appraisal. It's all off the market. A lot of less rules to go through the guidelines. So it's cheaper in other ways, but usually you're gonna get less, but you're using it for the service. It's a lot more stressful, you know. Now you also have subject to. Now subject to is where somebody owes $60,000 on their mortgage, but they want $100,000. No, let's say $120,000. So after they get $120,000, they're only going to get $60,000 because they have to pay $60,000 towards the mortgage of the bank. Now, if you do a subject to, you can say like, okay, how about I take over your mortgage, pay your PITI, and then I just give you $50,000 or $60,000 straight up through cash. So that way an investor don't have to pay $120,000. They're only paying $60,000, and they took over the mortgage. So it's always ways to find smarter ways to get through it. Of course, you got the land contract. I just call it the owner being their own banker.
Sure, yeah, it's basically your own being your own landlord. Yeah.
So there's many ways. I'm trying to get into the mobile game. People sleep on a mobile game. They think of Eminem, 8 Mile when they think of the mobile game. But there's some beautiful trailer parks out there. The great thing about mobile parks, you're paying big on the HOA fees. There's people out there paying $400 just to, stay on that land. So, and where, you got my mama house for a year, she's only paying around $600 for HOA fees. So that's where you really get your rent. So you got somebody paying $400.
Yeah, it's the same with townhouses.
And there you go. So I'm trying to learn about the mobile game. That is phenomenal right now. It's very slept on, so it's not a lot of competition. But just do your research, and there's many other ways. I'm thinking about getting my realtor license as well, just so I can have more options. I just want to have more options. Be able to tackle anything that I need.
Well, my answer to that question, thank you for that answer, Tyran. I feel like everybody has been waiting for the bottom to fall, right? Mm-hmm. It's been taking a while.
Well, you're already seeing it in the commercial market because you've got, like Ford just announced they're getting rid of 20 properties. Because I think that's the side effect. Like, okay, great. What did you learn during quarantine? What did companies learn during quarantine? They don't need office space,
right?
Or they don't need damn near as much as they've had all this time. And so, that's why I said, you're already seeing it in the commercial market.
But you think it's going to, spill over to residential?
Well, so yeah, you look at, just looking at, if I was having this conversation with somebody who works for UWM last night, where there are 2.7 million, I believe was the number, people that are at least 1 month behind in their mortgage right now. and trying to get into, and there was something like 4-point-something million that have applied for forbearance agreements and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean it's starting to look very similar to that 08, 09, 2010 residential collapse as well. And because it's almost been inevitable because like I look at, real estate values have been insane for the last 10 years. At Cards on Table, I bought my house that I'm in now in 2011 for $170. The house right up the street that has less square footage, doesn't have a finished basement like I do, doesn't have a pool like I do, just went for $350.
Yeah.
So that's double. That's insane. That's more tthan double in less than 10 years. And so it's almost inevitable that it's coming. And so that's why I said, because I do. It the way you're making it sound, it sounds like it's something that's easy to get into, and it's like the stock market. Great, yeah, you can dive in on Robinhood or wherever else. Just make sure you understand the risks that are associated with diving in, and that's what I'm trying to get to. I want to make sure people understand that it's not all fix it and flip it. It's not HGTV. Right. It's not.
Oh, no. Shit, you're gonna take some L's.
Sorry about that. There's many risks. Please do your research. If you get into the fix and flip game, the scary part is it's the unknown. You can buy a property and say, "Oh, I have $30,000 budget towards the construction," and then when you're done, you spend an extra $20,000. It's just through experience. There's people that's been in the game for over 10 years and they still make that mistake. So I always make sure you have, I call it a safety piggy bank. Never put all your money to one spot. You got to make sure you have some on the side, because if a roof goes away, $5,000 to fix it. So you have to make sure you just be smart with your money. That's the biggest thing.
Portfolio.
Yes, because many people have, for example, you might fix a house, take 4 or 5 months, and you might have broke even. So you probably got your money back, but you didn't make nothing off of it, so you wasted your time. So it's just many ways. People, like I said, just don't repeat the past. You have to learn from it and learn from that. Another thing, this is not a friendly environment. I've always get investors. No joke. I show investors houses, and they'll have partners that they know for over 10 years, and they'll personally talk to me and like, listen, in this game, don't trust nobody. He was like that guy in there, I love him, but I still don't trust him. I was like, okay. So it's crazy,
That's just business in general. I think.
Yes. So
play their role.
Just be smart. Don't be scared too. When I got in, I was nervous to negotiate. This is a mind's game. I remember sellers told me, I was like, can you at least go 20,000 less? He was like, yeah. At the end of the day, this is a seller's game, mind's game. It's all about the bargain. And after he said that, I just been more upfront with things. You have to look out for yourself at first, because if it don't make sense for you, you can't do nothing about it. Sometimes you'll try to help some people out, because some people be in some bad situations. They got some sad stories, but you just don't get suckered into something that you that you can't control. I learned that. One of my first deals, I was rushing it so bad. I forced it. I know I can make anything sound good. So I had one of my uncles. He's a nice investor, and he's like, yeah, I'll check out the house. I'm like, you can get it for this price, and ARV means after repair value. After you fix it up, which you can get retail price. I'm like, it's this 160,000. You're gonna get it for 50,000. And I sent him the pictures, and he called me. He's like, nephew, it just looked like a crack house neighborhood. I don't know if you did the research. There's an abandoned apartment right there in Detroit. You know what people are gonna expect. There's a burnt house on the left side of it, toasted. There's garbage across the street, and I'm really looking at it, and I was just like, don't force anything. Just be patient. It's gonna come to you. So that was my biggest problem. I really try to rush my first deal, And if you rush anything, you gotta remember, first impressions is everything. So if you send somebody a bad deal, they're gonna think you don't know what you're talking about. And next time you send them something, they're not gonna look at it. They're gonna be like, oh, this guy, you know. So I had to learn. Thankfully, the biggest thing in business, I think in anything you do, please find connections. Learn from people, listen to people, and respect people.
Be a sponge. Soak
there
up
you
the
go.
game.
And just be generous. People, you know, I'm only 23, and people that's been in the game for a very long time, they just put me under their wing for no reason. One guy didn't even know me for more than 5 minutes. He just felt some positive energy towards me. So he was just like, hey, let me come to properties with you, show you the repair, how much repair costs, how much to fix a window, replace windows, all that. And I learned a lot from him. You know, I just, like he said, soak up as a sponge. Just, you know, just know your place. Just know when to go to the next level. Don't rush anything. Don't force anything.
Anthony, do you have anything to add to that?
I feel like real estate is definitely something that I personally feel like everybody should have a piece of, or it should be involved in somewhere in the family, because it builds. It makes sense. Your money compounds. Money have money babies. You know, once you understand how money works and how real estate works, you golden. You know, so just when you jump into real estate, like he said, do your research and don't rush. That would be everything that I would say, basically, because everything that's rushed never lasts or ever works, you know. So that's what I would have to say to put the cherry on top of what Tyran said.
Okay. Have you all been to college or anything?
Yes.
What college did you go to?
I went to OCC for a year. I was finna transfer to state, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. My biggest problem with, you know, college, you know, what I wanted to go for, you know, I had to learn other pointless stuff for like 2-3 years before I even get a piece of the pie to learn what I really wanted to become. Just like culinary, I feel like you read math equations about food more than you cook food. You know, it was just crazy. It was just many things that I didn't like about it. But one thing I do love about college is stable. You know, stability. Even though sometimes when you do get your degree, you won't sometimes get your job. But I went to college for a year. I had all A's. It was easy, but it just wasn't for me. And I went through a lot of problems with my parents through that, because, you know, they both went to college, got their masters, and that was their mindset. You know, they pushed that on to me. So yeah, I went to college for a year. Yeah, that's what I said about college.
I went to college. First of all, I don't like school either. Second, I went to school to try it out, because maybe I was wrong, right?
What college did you go to?
I went to OCC also.
Okay.
But I went for like auto technician. You know, college students never know what they want to do.
Okay.
I went for about a year, and then I quit for a truck driving job. Make way better money than what I was going to go to school for, and I made more money in real estate photography also. So I mean, it just, you know, I just feel like school doesn't make sense to me. You know, to each its own. Everybody have their own opinion. You know, whatever suits you. Some people are very successful that went to college. You know, not knocking anybody's hustle. Mm-hmm. Do what suits you. But nah. So I would say no, really. That college doesn't count to me.
I have no problem with college, I would say. To each their own. Everybody has their way. Main reason why I say this, great thing about college, it's guaranteed. You know, you'll work a shift, and each week that check is there. You know, if you work them hours. where, you know, entrepreneurial way it's a lot of it's overtime. It's just a lot of overtime. There's no boss over you, which so you have to be in control of yourself, you know. You have to make sure you do them hours. There's no one forcing you. And a lot of people have to be forced in life to really get stuff done. That's just the truth of it. So if you can't take control of your life and really do them hours, really learn, understand that it might take some people over a year to even make a profit. But, you know, at the end, it will be worth it. But it's hard work. It's hard work in different ways.
Okay, so it can wind up being worth it, just because, I mean, so like I've seen a lot of messages, and I've gotten into this debate a lot of times with people. You know, oh man, you know, the pandemic, it's the right time to, you know, start your own thing, be an entrepreneur, get that hustle going. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Like the world needs worker bees, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's one of those things about risk, because, you know, like you're saying, you know, yeah, dude, there are months where, yeah, you might be rolling high. There are months where you're gonna be rolling lean. I mean, and it can be, and you can wind up losing everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, like the biggest thing that I always tell people, you know, I think that's, you know, the secret that nobody talks about is never, ever, ever quit your day job until you absolutely have to.
I agree.
Until you are literally forced to.
Yes.
I just recently quit.
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, the time that I was spending at my job is now is the time to put that time into my business, because I have reached a certain point. And I feel like, you know, once I put that time into it, which is, you know, real estate photography, and he's doing the wholesaling, I feel like, you know, that will be, you know, the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that time is what it needed, so I'm giving it to it. Anything that you spend more time with is going to grow and flourish. So
yeah, my dad got a thing, which I agree overall. You know, he's a dean of student, and he has great benefits as well. You know, you got health insurance is easier and stuff like that. So that's a great thing about working as well. But he has a thing. He's not quitting his job for Forex until he makes double of what he makes now, and guarantee. You know, it has to be guaranteed. That's the great thing about it. You know, if you lose your job, the worst case scenario, you have to get another job. Where if you give up on your business, none of that money is coming back.
Right.
You know, and that discourages a lot of people. So it's benefits on both sides. You just gotta know the person you are. Don't get offended. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody can't do the work life. Because the books, learning, that's tough too. That's why a lot of people at the last minute research.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Really, I mean, college life isn't for anybody. I mean, there are. Well, and then the flip side is there are very few people that I know that have a degree that are actually doing anything with that degree. Like whatever job they're in has nothing to do with what they went to school for, and that's just unfortunately typical.
Yeah, and what a great thing too, they gain a lot of knowledge. You know, going to school as well in some ways too.
Yeah.
You know it, and I feel like it might change your mindset a little bit.
Yeah, depending on where you go. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, everybody go to college for different reasons. Everybody's not really going for the degree. We're just going for
the party life. They're going for the yeah.
So that too, you know, just figure out yourself. That's the main thing. No one can really tell you. You know, people can guide you a little bit, but you have to do your own research. Anybody, just like the person you learn from the most, you still have to do your own research. You know, you're not gonna always agree with them. You know, sometimes you're like, I don't know about that one, but it's still my guy. You know, so yeah.
Okay, what is the name of your photography company? How can people get in contact with you, both of you?
Okay, the name of our company, our real estate photography company, is BBE. That stands for Brick by Brick Enterprise.
Okay.
You can reach us at bbevisuals.com or at our email at bb360vt@gmail.com. Yeah, you reach us there, and everything else, social media, everything is tagged along.
Okay, so what is your social media? What platform are you guys on? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Mainly Facebook.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your Facebook? Well,
Same thing, Brick by Brick Enterprise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you go to it, you get it.
And since we venture along into the investment group, we're going to be called Brick by Brick Housing as well.
In the
How
future.
has business been for you two?
It's been great.
Picking
You know,
back up.
we started during the slow times. You
Mhm.
know, what we're most
When
of
did
the-
you start?
So October last year.
Okay.
And really going into November,
No.
I already say.
Not October of last year. The previous year. October of the previous year.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Sorry.
Right before Corona.
2019.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
2000. Apologize. 2019. Yeah. So a lot of people was like, "Wow, you guys started at a bad time." And you know how we started getting clients. We just went to open houses. You know,
Right.
I was calling,
Yeah.
and a lot of people weren't in their offices no
The
more.
beginning is always the roughest.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't we just pull up to the open houses? And people were like, "Oh, you're here to check out the house?" Like, no, we're here if you want our services. And
Trick them.
some people like, oh, okay. And some people like, oh, y'all smart. I
Yep.
like that idea.
Nice
I never
trick.
thought of that. So we spent a lot of gas and it did not come back. Listen, I don't know why. I don't know if it's God playing with you, but it don't come back right away. People will call you 3-4 months ago. Oh, hey, I remember you guys still in service. Like,
That
Yeah.
was 3 months ago.
yes,
But that's how life works.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Like I felt good when the things that we were doing 3-4 months ago is finally starting to catch up. Like it's like, are we prepared for more, you know? If we get overwhelmed, you know.
And
so
that's another example, you know, working when you do your work, you getting that check next week.
yeah.
It's like I said, with the entrepreneur, we did 3-4 months of work and got nothing. We didn't even get no like just calls like, hey, you
gotta
guys
do free
you know,
jobs.
Oh,
Get your name out there. It works. Trust me.
yeah, we did like a 4,000 square foot house. It was
Oh my God.
I never seen like a house with it was like 3 floors, like actual 3 floors, but it wasn't a mansion. It was just a nice size house. But it had 3 floors, including the basement too. I'm like, and we did all that for free.
They did us the worst, and right after that, we got our blessing.
Yeah. They was like, we're gonna call you guys. We gave it to them and all that. This is when we was young, enforcing stuff. We just gave them everything, no contract, nothing.
Right.
We just was like, we're gonna give you guys a call, and call us and
They didn't even answer our calls.
yeah.
We
and they
followed
gave
up.
us their. It was sad, but listen, name of the game. You can't trust nobody.
Mhm.
They just got free.
You say you cannot trust nobody, huh?
They weren't able to use our photos after probably like a few weeks, but they probably got a few weeks of usage.
Yep.
But it's fine.
They were big. It only take a
think
couple weeks.
I think we understood. We understand the principles of business, and you know, you have to do some free things, get your name out there. You got to do some things you don't want to do to get where you want to be, and that was a big case of that in the beginning phases of BBE.
One more thing I will always say: please don't burn bridges.
Oh yeah.
You do not know what somebody will become or what somebody is doing. Every time I needed something, I would just talk to one of my family members, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I do this," and I'm like, or a friend I had talked to a couple months, you know, "Oh yeah, I do that personally." I'd be like, "All right, let's do business," you know. So just never burn bridges. You never know when you need somebody.
Even if you're on like bad terms, if you leave on bad terms with, you know, a contractor or whatever the case, you know, always stay professional, smile. You know, they'll never forget that. And what I have been through, you know, some people come back and apologize because they remember how they treated you, and they figure out that they actually do need you. So you never know what you're leaving behind when you cross people's path, or, you know, whatever you're doing in life. So just be mindful of that, and it'll come back tenfold. Trust me. Never forget it.
Okay, well, you two young men have been dropping great jewels here today on the T. Shay Show. It was a pleasure having you here.
It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you for
I would like
having
to
me.
come back.
Okay.
It's actually my first podcast.
Okay, that's great.
It's my third.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for stopping by.
All right,
Thanks for tuning in to the T-Shay Show. See y'all later. Till next time.